Hello, friends. God love you. I love you. No weapons formed against our expansion or communion with God will ever prosper. I'm outside looking at these plants, right? And let me show you. Can you see? I was watching the ants go around and around and around and around on this plant. I don't know what they're doing because I don't see them like grabbing anything. I'll be watching the ants a lot because nature will teach you something. And normally when I see them, they're like grabbing something from the tree and they're holding it and they're going to take it back to their nest and do whatever it is that they be doing. And at first I thought the definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. But after looking up the definition of insanity, that's debatable. The point of this message is, if you want something to change, right? I was watching the ants go around and around and around and around, up and down, like it was going to leave, but it came back and it was just going around and around. If you want something to change, you need to do something different, okay? If you want your environment to change, the ant was crawling around on the top of the plant and it kept going around and around. Like, I don't know how big the brain span is, but the environment didn't change. It just kept going around and around. If you want your environment to change, you have to leave your old environment and head in the direction of a new environment. If you want your body to change, you have to stop not doing nothing and actually do something. If you want your mindset to change, you actually have to think different than what you're currently thinking. If you want anything to change, friends, you actually have to change. That's what this message is. I wanted to change my life. And guess what I did? I changed my life. I wanted to change my scenery. I got on a plane or a boat or a train or a bus. If you want something to change and you do not know where to start, let me tell you who you should call. God. Upstairs. Everywhere. Our bestie, right? When I first started traveling 3 years ago, I was terrified. I was really terrified to be finally on my own. I joined the military when I was 18. I got married when I was 19. I stayed married for 20 years. And then I found myself by myself later on in life. I had my very own place. In Mexico, I was 41, right? 41. Living on my own for the very first time. That was very scary. But at the same time, it was very exciting because it was just me. I didn't have to clean behind anybody. I didn't have to prepare anything for anyone. It was just me for the first time on my own, learning to do things by myself, which can be very frightening when we live in a world where it's so easy to become codependent on someone. I have nothing wrong with relationships. In fact, I can't wait to be married again, okay? I love marriage. I love unity when it's honest and it's truthful. But I think it's very important for you to get to know who you are deeply first before you jump into a situation. And that is where I specifically went wrong. I didn't know who I was. I was 18. And I had a lot of trauma that needed to be unpacked. Thank God it is unpacked. Or I know how to handle things now when it comes up. So this message is about change. If you want change, you be the change. If you want to enhance your life experience, it's okay that it's scary. But no, even though I'm physically alone, I absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that God is always with me. My angels, my ancestors, and my spirit guides, they are always there guiding me and leading me. And they are always there for you, friends, to guide you and lead you in the right direction. God does not want you to fail. God does not want anyone to fail. But we cannot forget that we have to be able to follow God, okay? Not our ego, not our pride. We have to just follow God if we want anything that we do to be successful, okay? So if you want some change, don't be afraid to get yourself a ticket somewhere and go explore on your own. You'd be surprised the things that you might find on the other side of that. Okay, that is the message. God love you. I love you. Have a super awesome, wonderful day, friends, from wherever you're watching from. Bye.